Tyreek Hill detained outside of the stadium prior to kickoff. What do we think about it? Oh, you want to hear this? We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the scoreboard keepers. You're around here, we don't keep receipts. We keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard keepers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref. We're happy to be here with you tonight. We keep hot topics. And of course, we have another hot topic to talk about tonight. We look forward to talking about it. We look forward to speaking about it exactly the way we see it. Exactly the way we see it. And it should only take about 10 minutes to do. Now, we're going to start this clock and we're going to get right to it. Tyreek Hill, brother, you talk too much. And I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way, because when they hear that, they're going to automatically take a position that I'm blaming Tyreek Hill. Okay? There's enough fault in Tyreek Hill being detained outside of the Hard Rock Stadium by the police. There's enough fault to go around for everybody. In other words, nobody was doing their job. Nobody. It was the blind leading the blind in Tyreek Hill being arrested outside of the stadium prior to kickoff. But let me tell you what I saw. Let me tell you what I saw. And around here, we call it like we see it. We don't care who it is, where it is, or what it is. We are going to call it like we see it, bar none. We don't have any picks around here. There's no favorites. Like I just said, there's enough fault to go around. And where are we going to start? We're going to start at the video I saw prior to the police stop. There's a video of a black car moving faster than all the other cars that are passing by. I seen it with my own eyes. I saw the car come by as the police were sitting on their bikes, because they was actually recording as the traffic was going by. I don't know why. I don't know what that was about. I didn't know their cameras just rolled for no reason at all. But when his car came by, I didn't even hear anybody yell out the speed or how fast he was traveling. But what I do know is that he was moving faster than everybody else. That's number one. Number two, obviously, Tyreek, you forgot how much money you have in your bank account. You obviously forgot how much money that the Miami Dolphins are paying you to not be involved in little things like this. Okay? Now, I'm just going on Tyreek Hill first because he's the victim. Okay? He's the victim. You have enough money that if no matter what the situation was, it would be enough. It wouldn't be enough to keep you from getting out of whatever trouble or whatever problems you were about to have. Unlike some of us regular people, you have enough money. The situation You have $70 million in the bank account, and you almost turned a $70 problem into something way worse than what it was. So you have 70 million in the bank account, but your issue was only $70. Is that worth talking about? No, brother, it's not. It's not even worth discussing. When the officer asked you to roll your window down, he tapped on your window, you had some words for him, that's fine. You felt a certain kind of way about your window being tapped on, that's fine. You're able to speak you ever speak your mind? That's your First Amendment right. You can speak, you can say whatever you want to say. The problem was that you rolled it back up. When you rolled it back up, the officer is no longer can do his job, and you can no longer get your $70 ticket and go about your business. He can't even write you your ticket yet because he can't talk to you. Now, if you're worrying about people coming by and seeing that it's Tyreek Hill and so on and so forth, so what? At this point, you're a pedestrian. You're a regular citizen. You're a regular citizen. You've been pulled over by the authorities like most of us do. Brother, let me tell you something. When the window rolled back down, you had some words for the police officer again, and that's fine. You were speaking your mind, and that's your right, okay? But now the situation is going into personal things. It's no longer about your $70 problem. Now it's about machismo, and it's about who's in control, and now it's an argument, and now you outside arguing with a police officer that's making nowhere near the money you're making, okay? And he has Tyreek Hill pulled over, and he has Tyreek Hill pulled over, even if he don't, right? He know he has a man pulled over with a lot of money because of what you're driving, okay? He knows it. So you already know what the climate is of the situation. But here's my problem. My problem is when I say that you talk too much, this is what I mean, brother. This is what I mean. Your Miranda rights, okay? Your Fifth Amendment right. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to remain silent. You don't even have to talk to this officer. There's nothing to even talk about. If you wanted your ticket and you wanted to just get on about your merry way and about your business, then you should have just let him do his job and get on about his business. Because if he had an axe to grind, it could have went another way, which it looked like it wanted to go that way. Because now you've made it personal because you're doing all this chitter chatter. Yo, my man, yo, this, that, and yo, man, I don't. You giving him way too much conversation. It was way too much conversation. You have rights, and you failed to realize that during your stop. You forgot your rights. He was exercising his because when he asked you to exit the vehicle, the game was already in play because he knew you didn't want to get out. But guess what he did know? He knew that he had the authority and the law was behind him to ask you to exit the vehicle. He wanted to ask you things that was uncomfortable to you. It's a $70 problem now turning into something else. So when he asked you to exit the vehicle and you said no, which he already knew you were going to say no because the argument had already started, he knew that he could and his friends could pull you out of that vehicle. You had already rolled the window up once. They didn't know what was in there. You were having some words for him that he didn't particularly like. So he began to implement his plan. And for somebody that plays football, that get a game plan, every week, you going to tell me that you didn't see that one coming? You read defenses all week long and defensive backs, and you didn't read the play from that man? You have to be kidding me. I'm actually disappointed because you didn't know that you had Miranda rights. Your Miranda rights is that you didn't have to say nothing. If he was going to ask you, did you know how fast you was going? You didn't have to say nothing. If he was going to ask you, did you know you were speeding? You didn't have to say nothing. If he was going to ask you what you was having for dinner tonight, you didn't have to say nothing. If he was going to ask you where you got your car, you didn't have to say nothing. You could have said exactly what's involved in your Fifth Amendment rights, that you have the right to remain silent. That's what you could have said. You could have absolutely said that. You have the right to refuse the consent to search. And if you're not under arrest, you can, and there's no law been broken, you can calmly pull away. These are your rights. You didn't exercise any of them. You was worrying about the fans seeing you. And you was doing way too much talking. And that's what I mean by you talk too much. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that was only going to take 10 minutes. It was only going to take 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for joining another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. And I absolutely want you to comment below and tell us how you feel about this situation with Tyreek Hill. But what I noticed was that everybody has all this advice, but nobody was giving him the legal advice. The legal advice, Tyreek Hill, brother, is that you had the right to remain silent. And you should have exercised your Fifth Amendment right to the fullest. I thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Scoreboard Keepers. Have a good night.